Good morning, everyone. I hope all of us are doing well in our respective places and are healthy and safe and sound. Today, we have the honor and pleasure of having Dr. Mahesh Chandra with us. Sir is Principal Scientist and Head Division of Extension Education, ICR Veterinary Research Institute, Izzat Nagar. And the topic chosen for deliberation today by our esteemed guest is: Do we need exclusive extension policies for India? Uh, Sir, you are audible as well as visible, and your presentation is also visible. Before you could start, I would want to request all the participants to join only and not to click on the present button. You just have to join the group only, because otherwise that disrupts the session. And during the session, please keep your microphones on mute and turn off your cameras if you are not in an office environment. Why? Because if you're not in an office environment, this session is going to be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. And also on the topic of YouTube, please subscribe to our channel because we are around 910 subscribers, and we would be able to better serve you if we have more than 1,000. And that is a milestone we would want to achieve with the help of our participants. Thank you, everyone. Sir, please start.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So there's already has been told that about my topic is, do we need exclusive extension policies for India? I shall be talking about this. So let us first see the extension fact sheet. 80% of the world's poorest, that is 600 million people, live in rural areas and work in the agriculture sector and yet go to bed hungry. Is it not very bad thing that still people are going, they are going to sleep hungry? So extension has to play an important role in this scenario. Extension services enable farmers to take up innovations, improve production, and protect the environment. These are some of the responsibilities extension services take up. Extension shows positive effects on knowledge adoption and productivity. Actually, all extension people, those of you who are attending this uh, program, they know that extension shows positive effects on knowledge. There are not many studies which have reflected this clearly. Studies indicate very high rates of return to extension, up to 500%. If extension is doing well, there is chance of very improved return to extension. It is cost-effective way to improve farmer productivity and income. In some countries, public extension services reach a large number of farmers, and the ratio of extension workers to farmers is quite positive. Say, for instance, in China and Vietnam, on average, there is one extension worker per 280 farm households. In Indonesia, it is estimated that each extension worker covers about 2.8 villages. The ratio of extension worker to farmers is low at 1 is to 1162 at national level in India. It means that one agriculture officer serving 1162 farmers, as against recommended ratio of one extension officer serving 750 farmers. You can imagine that scenario, that extension, so much load on that. Around 43% of rural workers are women, but only 5% of women have access to extension services. Only 15% of the world's extension agents are women. You know that women are invisible workers. Lot many women work in farm, in animal husbandry and agriculture sector, but extension personnel, only 15% are women. So extension scenario in India, let us examine what is the extension scenario in India. India has a huge research and extension infrastructure for agriculture development. Yet, over 59% of the farm household in India received no assistance from either government or private agriculture extension services during 2013. This is National Sample Survey Organization 70th round. This is a very important finding. Of the 40.6% household who received extension assistance, only 11% of the services came from physical government machinery, that is extension agents, mostly Krishi Vigyan Kendra and agricultural universities. More farmers depend on other progressive farmers, that is 20%, media including radio, TV, newspaper 19.6%, and private commercial agents 7.4%. The public extension system is unable to reach many farmers in India. It is estimated that 17% of farmers get their information from other farmers and 13% from input dealers. You know, when farmers are getting information from other farmers and from input dealers, and input dealers, you know, they'll be biased toward their own product. They'll be promoting their own brand and products. So that is also a scenario. Over 90% of the small scale farmers continue to remain detached from new technologies and guidance from public research institutes. It is very pathetic condition. You can imagine over 90% farmers. Combined with large number of farm households in the country, on an average, extension services only reach 6.8 farmers of the farmers. You can imagine the scenario. No wonder agricultural productivity for major crops and livestock species in India is still lower than that of the world averages. So you can understand that how much we are lagging behind for the want of good agriculture extension services. So I conducted yesterday a small survey. I heard that there are 280 participants in this training, and I could receive responses from 109. I don't know what was the reason that you did not respond to the survey despite reminder, and I could get only, it is less than the half. I don't know how many of you are actually participating. This is the perception of extension service providers on agriculture extension service. So when I asked that does an agriculture extension policy exist in India, though 56% of you said yes, and 53% of you said no. So let me tell you that the agriculture extension policy doesn't exist in India so far. It is not that. Only agriculture extension framework was developed, but it was not turned into the policy. So, but it is roughly half of you have said yes, and half of you have said no. Is there a need for agriculture extension policy in India? Fortunately, 99 almost 100% say yes, excepting one. It might be some reason for saying no. Do you agree on absence of agriculture extension policy adversely affects? So yes, then most of you, almost 96% of you have said yes, it affects if there is no policy. Are you an extension service provider? It is very important question. I have seen the diversity in the participants in this group. They are coming from universities, they are coming from KVKs, they are from some other departments. So there is a good diversity coming from veterinary universities, agriculture universities, KVKs, departments, and all, they are there. So then 77 point, almost 78% of you said that you are one extension service provider. And I'm wondering that 22% said they are not extension service provider. If they are not extension service provider, if you are not, then I'm wondering that you are attending this training, which mostly it is for extension personnel. What are the primary responsibilities of an extension service provider? So responses, the multiple answers were there. So it is 64% says impart knowledge and skill. And then being reservoir change in attitude. And then almost 84% of you have said transfer of technology from research station to farm. That is a very narrow role of the extension service provider, that transferring the technology from research station to farms. Very limited role you are talking about this one. So which is the main extension agency at district level? When this question was asked to you, then 51% said KVK. And then 33% said Atma. 15% said Department of Agriculture, Department of Animal Husbandry. If you say that KVK, if you read the literature very carefully, KVK is not in fact an extension agency. KVK is for assessment and refinement of technologies, followed by trainees of the certain villages in a district, not entire district KVK is supposed to cover. And moreover, it is for assessment of technologies, not for extension service. So wrongly, many of us often believe that KVK is meant for extension service, while Atma is for extension service. Department of Agriculture, that is responsible for extension services. So that is only KVK refine the technologies and validate field FLDs and then OFTs. It is the job of KVK. Do you agree many unskilled people are engaged in extension? So 76% of you said that yes, many unskilled people are involved in extension services, and you can imagine the fate of extension services when 76% of them are unskilled in delivering extension services. It means the quality of extension services delivered will be of very poor quality, of very inferior quality, when they are not skilled in extension service delivery. Does the mandate of extension service delivery sufficiently meet with your job profile? 73% of you have said yes, while 26%, almost 27% have said no. Are you accountable for extension service delivery? 88% of you have said yes, you are accountable for extension service delivery, while nearly 12% have said no, you are not accountable for extension service delivery. It is also not a good situation when you are not accountable for extension service delivery. Are you burdened with multiple responsibilities apart from extension service delivery? 77%, 76% said yes. apart from extension service delivery. In fact, you are doing other jobs, not the extension delivery. In fact, that will impact adversely the quality of extension service delivery, and ultimately farmers will be affected. Are you equipped with the extension resources required for extension service delivery? 42%, 41% of you have said yes, and but unfortunately, almost 59% of you have said that you are not well equipped for extension service delivery. You don't have the required resources to deliver extension services properly. That is also not a very good scenario. Are you aware of the National Agriculture Extension Policy responses? National framework. That was the question about the extension framework. 67% of you have said that you are aware of the National Agriculture Extension Framework. I wonder that whether I'm not sure whether you got this question properly or not, but Agriculture Extension Framework was developed by Ministry of Agriculture, and that was in the ministry website, where it narrated all different kind of the extension
Hello, sir.
Sir, your voice is not coming.
Yeah, I think he got disconnected.
Yeah, good morning, all the participants. I just he has some issue with the network, and can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
He has some network issues, and hence I just take some time of all of you. So, anyways, actually, just he was discussing about the extension policies, about the situation. Actually, what you people have responded, like it was related to a survey. Actually, he had already circulated, and most of us actually have not responded. But anyways, apart from that, actually, he just would like to share his experiences about extension policies, basically, because some of the countries, maybe even our own neighbors like Bangladesh and Nepal, have got their own agriculture extension policies. But we people, India, do not have that such an extension policy, because we are still in the framework of that extension policy. The person actually, like Dr. Mahesh Chandar, is basically the head, and I'm sure actually most of you might have seen him either in different social medias. And he also has an experience of working with different international organizations like FAO, and some assignments with World Bank. And he has also he was also the member of Planning Commission of Government of India. Now presently we call it as Niti Aayog, but previously it was actually called as Planning Commission, and he is also the member of that. So as I understand, he was the member for those three basic planning commissions which was established 10th, 11th and 12th, and he has got a very good approach actually with regards to that policy making is concerned, and policy approaches are being concerned. And apart from that, he is also like discussing about our approaches, the extension policies, how the policies should be, and then he's trying to take some examples or some experiences basically from the other countries. Even like we have got Global Forum on Rural Advisory Services, then we have got actually a few other foreign countries, and some examples, some cases actually he'll be including upon, and he'll be taking it for consideration. And meanwhile, so we are just waiting for him so that he will join. And apart from that, he has got some of the experience basically working with the investment part, because in even he was talking about like the investments in extension will really give us the worth, whatever we have invested. And actually we have got good number of studies, and even in my presentation, I was talking about like at least 10% of the budget should be allocated for extension activities. In the same way, actually, because we have worked together in the same same actually the paper actually, so we both are working, and myself actually I'm also the PhD student of him, and we had that experience. And apart from this like investments, he is also normally talking about the extension activities, and he has an experience of talking with sharing different experiences even about the livestock service delivery, as well as even the agriculture extension service delivery. And then so this is actually like, because I cannot tell more than him, but that's an important thing, because if I talk little more also, actually, his lecture will somehow get diluted. So I want him to take more time of you. But meanwhile, we are also trying to contact him so that he will be able to join us. So are there any other?
Yeah, Dr. Prakash.
Sir.
Now, till the Dr. Mahesh Chandra sir joins, we can do one thing. We can have a small exercise. We can share our experiences about the different policies. Is there existing in any of the states of the participants? Because there are participants from across the country, from different states. In any of the states, they can share any policy they have got, whether with regard to agriculture extension, veterinary extension, dairy extension, because even the milk unions, milk federations, they have got their own setup, and they have some sort of policies with regard to extension activities. They have got certain exclusive dairy extension wings. So some of our participants can share their views about this. Different policies existing in different states.
Because actually even like we had a study depending about this only, sir. One is with regards to investments, like whatever the investments we have done for extension activities. The other one was actually having about having the extension wing exclusively for extension activities at the headquarters, because state headquarters especially, because we saw that actually majority of the states do not have an extension wing exclusively, and they are actually working on with statistics department, or actually they are working with agile planning, program planning department, or something like that. So that was actually that was our study. And in fact, if there are any other policy related aspects, as Dr. Shivkumar Reddy sir has mentioned, I think some of the participants can even share their experiences, or actually some 1 or 2 points if they have got to share with the other participants. Yes, somebody can even raise their hands or something like that. Yeah, Sureshji, please.
Sir, actually in the Department of AHVS Karnataka, we have got the separate wing in our directorate. There we have got the additional director for extension and joint director for extension. They are looking about the extension programs.
Yes, sir. Actually, I got your point. We will discuss back to you, because Dr. Mahesh Chandra sir has already joined. I think we will.
Can you unmute? At the bottom, there is a microphone icon, which should be red. Once you click on it, it would be unmuted.
I think we will hand it over back to Mahesh sir so that he can continue. I think we will take the question of Suresh sir, because he is the right person to answer. Even he can answer. Sir, please unmute.
Unmute is the icon at the bottom of Google Chrome, where you see this chat and all our faces. There is a red microphone icon at the leftmost place at the bottom, next to the topic name. Turn on or off microphone. If it is red, that means you are, you are unmuted. Yeah. Can you say something, sir?
Yeah. Now it's okay. No, it's okay.
Yeah. You have to click again on the present now. Choose and.
So, will somebody tell me that where I was, from where I was not audible?
Yeah. You have to share your screen again first.
Sir, please share your PPT, sir. We will tell, sir.
Perception of extension services, I was talking up to the 8 point.
Sir,
this was.
We are not able to see your presentation, sir.
So you have to click on the present now again at the bottom next to the hand icon.
Mm.
Choose entire screen.
Upward arrow.
Actually, this power is likely to go again. This one. Share. This. Is it okay now?
Yes, yes. Now go to the PPT, sir.
Mhm.
Yes. Perfect. Start the slideshow.
So, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are able to hear you, see you, and the presentation is on.
So, when we ask the question, are you an extension service provider? Almost 78% have said yes, and 22% say they are not extension service provider. Okay, and then what are the primary responsibilities of extension service provider? Then 84% say transfer of technology from research station to farmers. It is a very narrow role of the extension service. Which is the main extension district level? 51% say Krishi Vigyan Kendra, which in fact is not an extension agency. But say as such, if you read the literature properly, you will find that KVK is not extension service agency. It is for assessment and refinement of technologies of FLDs and OFT. Atma, in fact, is extension service, and Department of Agriculture is the primarily responsible for extension service delivery. Do you agree many unskilled people are engaged in extension? And then the 76% say yes. And while 24% say that unskilled people are involved in extension service delivery, that is not a good scenario. Does the mandate for extension service delivery sufficiently meet with your job profile? 74% say yes and 26% say no. So it means that your job profile is not fitting with the extension responsibilities. Are you accountable for extension service delivery? 12% say no, you are not accountable for extension service delivery. Are you burdened with multiple responsibilities apart from extension service delivery? 76% say yes, and 24% say no, you are not burdened with extension service delivery or many other responsibilities apart from extension service delivery. Are you equipped with extension resources required? Almost 59% say they are not. You are not equipped with the required resources for extension service delivery. This is also a pathetic scenario. Are you aware of the National Agriculture Extension Framework? 67% of you say yes, you are aware of. I don't know exactly you are aware of or not that National Agriculture Extension Framework developed by Ministry of Agriculture, and it was uploaded in the ministry's website, and it described the extension scenario in India, but it could not be turned into agriculture extension policy because for turning into agriculture extension policy, that framework required to be approved by the parliament and declared as a national agriculture extension policy, but this did not happen in India. So 33% of you said that you are not aware of National Agriculture Extension Framework. Should we have a separate livestock extension policy? 87% of you have said yes, we should have extension policy, national extension policy, while 13% almost say that we don't need agriculture extension policy in this country. So who are extension service providers? In fact, university faculty, many of you are extension faculty. Do you feel that you are extension service providers? ICR Institute scientists, Atma functionaries, KVK subject matter specialists, Department of Agriculture officials, Animal Husbandry Department, veterinarians, NGO staff, private sector cooperatives, just anybody. Extension is everybody's task, trained, untrained, qualified, unqualified. This is what is sometimes a scenario that everybody feel that they are fit for extension service delivery. If you look at the scenarios in our agriculture universities, veterinary universities, in ICR institutes, that you will find that this question extension is everybody's task. Everyone is doing, whether they have training or not, they are qualified or not qualified, anybody can do extension. I cannot do veterinary practice. I cannot do agriculture specialist job. I am not entomologist, for example. I am not, but any entomologist can be extension service provider. This is what you can understand, imagine the scenario. Everybody's job is nobody's responsibility. You can understand this very well, and that also reflects the scenario. So everyone's job is nobody's responsibility. So they will be doing the job, but they will not feel responsible towards it. Say, for example, if you are qualified in a biochemistry, what is the fun that you will have some responsibility for extension service providing, which you will not enjoy doing it, and no department should not expect this thing from you also. Then who are the extensionists? Extension service provider, who are they? Those who are having qualification in extension discipline, those who are trained in extension work, just have been given extension responsibility. Think about yourself that what is happening. So now coming to extension policy. What happened in 1990, FAO's Global Consultation on Agriculture Extension recommended that all national governments should develop and periodically review their agriculture extension policy. Despite this coming from FAO, many countries could not develop national agriculture extension policy, including India. In India, big problem is that agriculture is state subject. That a central government, if you want to have agriculture extension policy, some states would like to have their own way of delivering extension services. That create a lot of problem. Our federal, we have to respect sometime state autonomy. This policy should include the goals of agriculture extension, the responsible agencies and personnel, the clientele to be served, the broad program areas to be addressed, and other relevant guidelines. Lack of agreement on the functions of extension, the clientele to be served, how extension will be financed, frequent changes in organizational structure and program priorities, rapid turnover of the extension staff, and the proliferation and lack of coordination between different organizations that undertake extension work are some of the common problems that highlight the issue of extension policy. Because of these reasons, we need a unified extension policy in every country. Extension must be responsive to changes in the agriculture sector that drive towards market reforms and sinking government budgets. When at all we are formulating agriculture extension policy, we have to see that the changes what is happening global level, we have to be accommodative to them. Research extension formal linkage are absent or weak in many instances, which demands for a thorough evaluation of existing extension approaches to identify best practices and understand their impact on farming communities, and to recognize how extension can be strengthened. These are some of extension policies should include name of the extension system. You might have heard that Cooperative Extension Service of United States, so popular since 1914, it is working. 107 years it has passed and it is very effective. They have a name. Mission and goal it should have, intended clientele, who are the clientele, geographic coverage, the dominant extension approach to be followed, general subject matter coverage, institutional and organizational framework, how extension will be financed, and provisions for review and accountability within the extension system. If we are formulating extension policy, these are the element of extension policies we have to take note of. The ultimate test of extension policy is the impact that extension is having on the productivity of all major crops of farmers, including their incomes and quality of life. Formulating extension policy. Somebody would be wondering that how extension policy are framed. So it is like that. There is no standard formula to be used in formulating agriculture extension policies. To be more relevant to the needs of farmers and other clientele, extension policies should be reviewed and formulated through a participatory approach. All different stakeholders, including farmers, private sector, NGOs, government, public sector agencies, this should be consulted while formulating extension policy. This process could be initiated by dedicated professionals from the public and private sectors with the active participation of farmers themselves, the private sector, and local government representatives. It should be all inclusive, because we cannot exclude some element of the society that they will, because we have to take opinion of everybody. A representative of all major farm groups should be involved, both through formal mechanisms and informal consultations in the formulation and execution of agriculture extension policy. Farmer involvement in policy formulation and periodic review is the most effective means of creating a demand-driven national extension system. Farmers, farmers' agitation is going on against these farm laws. So they need to be consulted and they need to be convinced. Lessons from the past can serve as a guide to the future in formulating relevant and useful extension policy. A proposed draft extension policy that results from this participatory approach would have to be legitimized by the Ministry of Agriculture and then enacted into law by the Parliament. The advantage of this approach would be greater relevance to local conditions and acceptance by the stakeholders at the field level. Yes, if you are following the participatory approach, our extension policy will be very effective and practical in nature. A good extension policy is extension policy development with a long-term vision. If we are formulating extension policy, we should have a long-term vision into mind. Does it foster innovativeness and creativity on the part of extension staff? It should be seen that. Does it have more provisions for facilitating rather than controlling their work? It should be facilitating mechanism. Does it foster stakeholder participation and confidence in the extension system? Does it attract sustained financial support from government through the support of the stakeholders and beneficiaries? Does it follow appropriate procedures and methods to perform its responsibilities efficiently, effectively? Does it have reasonable provisions for accountability through periodic reviews? A good extension policy will have all these elements in it. Extension policy has to be in line with doubling the farmer's income in the current scenario. Suppose the government wants doubling the farmer's income. That is the statement. By 2022, we want to double. And for that reason, they have redefined the extension. All extension participant, all of you, those who are from the extension discipline, they know it very well that there are a multitude of extension discipline, almost 25 definitions are there. So now this committee on doubling the farmers' income, the Dalwai committee report, they browsed all these definitions. They found that they are more academic in nature. So they have made it, redefined it. So it is like that. Agriculture extension is an empowering system of sharing information, knowledge, technology, skill, risk, and farm management practices across agriculture subsectors and along all aspects of the agriculture supply chain. You know, this agriculture supply chain was not there in earlier definitions. It is a new addition because it means that it is agriculture supply chain means that all in the value chain. It's not that only you are going to the farmers and telling them grow more. You add this kind of input and you will increase production. Not that. Extension role doesn't finish here itself. Now we are supposed to tell if you are produce well, process it and market it. So this is the new responsibilities for the extension mechanism. We are supposed to tell the farmers how to process and how to market their product across agriculture subsectors, and so as to enable the farmers to realize higher net income from their enterprise on a sustainable basis. You know, enterprise farming need to be seen as an enterprise, as like a business, not a way of life of producing some crops and selling the primary product. No.
I think he got disconnected again. Let me call him back.
Shikumar sir. Shikumar Redder sir.
Sir, he got disconnected again, I think.
Yeah, you can call him sir, because I think he came back again, joined, no? Redder sir. Majiji, are you calling him?
Yes, yes. He just said power has come back and he will be joining again.
Yeah, fine, fine. So I think there was one question from Dr. Suresh Sajjanji. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually the point is like you are telling like we do not have an exclusive extension in Yama, right?
No, sir. Actually, my thing is, my view is that in the department of our animal husband and veterinary service in Karnataka, we have got our own extension wing. There we have got the additional director and joint director. They are looking after the extension services in our state. That was I was telling, sir.
Yeah, fine. Actually, the issue is because when we conducted a study, maybe in 2015-16, I think, so there were actually around 9 or 10 states which had got a separate extension wing. Meanwhile, actually, that is not the condition in most of the states. So that was the point actually we were discussing about. Because having an exclusive extension wing at the center, at the state headquarters, can make a lot of difference. Maybe with regards to human resource, maybe with regards to budget allocation, budget utilization, so all such things. Because I'm sure even many of us may not be knowing actually whether our state has got a separate or exclusive extension wing or not. So that is how actually is important. I think Mahesh sir is again back. He's just sharing his presentation.
Is it visible?
Sir, click on the PPT. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I was talking about the extension policy, the definition and changing priorities, new demands, new capacities required must be accommodated in extension policy. This is the new definition of extension. And I would suggest to all extension people that Dalwai committee report, doubling the farmers' income, where extension has been dealt at volume 11. So you please read it, and those who are the veterinary livestock sector, they should read below volume 8 and section D of it. You will find wonderful information that will be required for your job. So now I want to show you some pictures which I love to share. We need to have global competitiveness. You know, if you want to be globally competitive, we have to be at par with the global standards of agriculture products. And in packaging, the way we are selling our product, if you are not at par, that farmers will be at disadvantage, because now we are free to import commodities which our consumers require. So you look at the kind of things which have been kept in the shelves. Are we ready? Are we providing kind of extension services what the farmers need? How to produce, how to process, how to label, how to brand, how to market it. You see, the ghee, this has been kept. I took this picture in Hamburg some 3-4 years back. Ghee, bio, organic, and something. Some farmers might have produced in India this ghee, and the way it has been labeled by the German people there and selling it. And you see the primary, how much a farmer received the money, and when the consumer is paying in Germany. And you see that if a portion of it, if we can help our farmers to pocket more share of this consumers' money. So for that, we have to be ready with kind of all these kind of services. We are not limited not only to giving a production advice. You feed this animal feed, and animal will give more milk. Now farmers are asking what to do with more milk, where to sell it at remunerative price, how to make product out of it, how to market, how to label, and how to brand it. So these are the how to form, say for example, how to set up FPOs, and how to market through buy input from through FPOs, and how to market our products. So now your export of dairy, meat, and leather sector. So we are very impressive when only 25% of this being processed products. If we are slaughtering properly or animal, we can manifold we can have increase in this dynamics. You see the kind of a production system are coming up, the kind of the housing for animals. Of course, in the context of organic, but you see the so hygienic and so neat, and so this one. So the farmers need this advice how to catch up. Say if organic animal husbandry or organic farming is coming up, are we ready with that knowledge? And how to advise farmers to switch over from conventional farming to organic farming? This year, last year, we could export 2,500 kg of organic certified ghee also to UAE. We are exporting 6,000 crore worth of agriculture commodities certified organic. But where the extension system stand as far as guiding farmers on organic agriculture practices, guidelines and standards is concerned, the farmers are all organic farmers are depending on certification agencies and the private certifiers and private entrepreneurs for extension advice on this aspect. You see this, the organic livestock current scenario, they are certified operators now. They are being trained. They are being given training on organic production practices. Extension mechanism is also responsible for this kind of trainings. Are we ready for that? So that export is so much is focused that. So are we orienting our farmers towards export? Because we need good agriculture practices for that. Why the requirement of export, we have to inform farmers. We have to equip. We ourselves as extension service provider, we have to train our farmers for, and then orient them for exporting things. You see, I visited this dairy in Italy, 2018. So you see, this is the cheese, certified organic cheese kept for 2 years for seasoning on, you see, for maturing. Because that is all 250 cows that farmer was having. You can see yourself the nice dairy that was. This Hombre, you give in the Google link, Hombre Bio, and this 2.5 minute video, you will see how a farmer is doing this organic dairying with 250 cows for export purpose, 100% export cheese. And then he's having a shop. And this is our local organic farmer. If you have to deal as extension service provider with these kind of emerging farmers, it will be a very big challenge for us, because thanks to internet now, they are very much knowledgeable. What they are not getting internet, that is what they are asking only from the extension people. If you are not able to tell them, then they will say extension people are useless. You see, this is a young agriculture graduate. Now he's exporting mint oil to Europe and America. And Dr. Bronner's brand is a very big brand in America. He's exporting certified mint oil to them. And he's associated with 2,500 farmers, local farmers, giving them know-how, because he's getting a know-how, technical support from the all Western countries, European and American countries, and now 2,000 farmers are benefited by this extensive service he's providing to them. And he has got training in Brazil, And I wrote a blog on him in 2016, and now 5 years passed. In 5 years, he has grown so much. 50 crore rupee export turnover he had this year. And now expanding into chamomile flowers, chamomile. And then all the European delegation is coming and then training the farmers. Can we ever, if he contacted KVK people local, they will not be having some time. I'm not saying that all KVK people are ignorant about all these things, but it is a lot more required, knowledge is required in this sector. So that we can answer his queries. Now farmers are brand naming their farms, Godson Organic Farm, certified one. And then he sells everything online. Suppose you meet this kind of a farmer, and when you interact with you, many a time you will have to have a lot of confidence interacting with him, because already he has a lot of knowledge. And also in facilitation skills and the communication ability, soft skills, he is very well aware of. Now they are upgrading their skills, negotiating skills. You see he is handling here in this at his home. If you go then packing, airtight packing, and so that he can deliver online. He supply cosmetic raw material to salons and beautician for the export purpose. And the all foreign people, they are coming into and having negotiation for their product supply. So this is a new breed of farmers coming up, and having their own posters produced, certified Saru organic fresh milk. He's a retired wing commander from Air Force, and having in outskirts of Hyderabad, he's having a dairy and supplying milk. And NARM agribusiness incubator supported him in his because they are getting in touch with so that how to turn into dairy, into organic dairy and like that. So this is young couple. She has masters in economics from London, and she's having a dairy. She got $5,000 support from FAO for converting her dairy from Holstein Friesian to Gir cattle. And now if you interact with her, some of our students, they visited with me in entrepreneurship class. So they have acquired a lot of knowledge about these breeds and the medical needs and all these kind of things. They are, and then when you are visiting her farm, you know this. They have provided this biosecurity measures. In many government farms, we don't get it. It means that they mean business. They are looking for quality. So this is an entrepreneur in Jodhpur. We are under RKVI supporting him with 13 lakh rupees because this fruit waste he converted, he fabricated this machine, turned into pallets. So this kind of enterprise, they are looking for this kind of information, how it can be, how we can support this kind of farmers through RKVI. You see, all biosecurity measures, the moment we landed in her farm, dairy farm, so these all biosecurity measures were provided. You can understand the level of understanding about good quality milk production and the disease prevention and all. So this area of fruit waste from the wealth, this is area that we should not waste anything and all these things. That kind of information is also needed. Some of you in the participant, I have seen that you have worked substantially on waste to wealth concept and fruit and vegetable waste, how it can be converted, and farmers are looking for advice in these areas. So one of the participants among you, that he has developed this one from different parts of the different fruits, which animal can be fed. You know, pig can eat a lot, many kind of things. Very good. We wrote a very good paper on fruit and vegetable waste, how it can be used as an animal feed. It is published by Springer Journal on organic agriculture. So it is, this is an NINP in Bangalore. They have from the this is pineapple peel, how it can be made as silage. So this is also very nice. YouTube video is available on this aspect. So cow dung, you know, sometimes farmers are struggling with, they are not getting good price for milk. Why they should be restricted to milk only? Why not to think about the cow dung along with this young entrepreneur? He has formed a company, Sayogi Biotech. Lot many videos, YouTube, you can see he came to IVRA for training on dairying, and he got interested into vermicomposting. Now he has formed a company and he is selling a lot of thousands of tons of vermicompost, and also he's become trainer. Videos he is producing and selling. So entrepreneurial skill. This you see how nice packaging, you know, and how nicely they have worded it. Gobar Gold. They are BTech, BBSc final year student from Bukul Veterinary College. They came to IVRI for a competition on a startup, and we selected in fact them for 5 lakh grant for, and with 2 months free training at our campus. They unfortunately they couldn't get study leave from their college, but they were very good, very creative boys. And you see how nicely they have packed it. This is dried cow dung. And anybody can sell it for 50 rupees per kg. If you are keeping in a shopping mall, anybody would love to buy it for 50 rupees, because then they will remember this flower plant, indoor flower plant in their homes. And then if it is dried up and more moisture removed, it will not be or this foul smelling. So anybody will buy more than the price of the milk. This is what farmer need, how to do it. So this direct home delivery, how to do this good quality poultry products and how to make their own feed and different kind of, you see this own jaggery, and then they are coming up with the modified version of this and then turning into candy. So this candy is the same, and then how you see the transformation, how to do it. These agriculture graduates are being sown to entrepreneur, the mint grower, this seed. I just took them to these young boys to take them to the different entrepreneurs, how they are doing it. This is what is required, how to value it. So this is, we need exclusive extension policies for India. Based on my discussion, you might have realized, we need to organize our different extension, which is very fragmented approach. Somebody is doing duplication of efforts is there. Same thing is being done by sometime KVK, sometime universities are also doing, ICR institutes are doing in the same this one, and there is no guidance, there is no interaction and coordination with different departments. You know, state agriculture department sometimes because of the ego, and sometimes would like to have their own scheme of things. They won't interact with ICR institutes or university. They will go their own way. KVK will have their own mandate. They will be doing some kind of extension service one way or other, and sometimes they will be taking more work apart from their usual role. FLDs, OFTs, and all, they have been given many other activities to be performed. Likewise, NGOs, they have input dealers also. Now they, after getting diploma from MAS, they are also delivering some extension service. Is there any coordination among all these things? If extension policy is there, it will take into account all these different fragmented approach being followed. Say, for example, State Department of Animal Husbandry. Department of Agriculture says that we have got nothing to do with animals. Then State Department of Animal Husbandry has to do the extension role. But the extension role, who will perform there? The veterinarians posted there, they have a clinical orientation. They want to treat animals. They say our job is to treat animals. And at the same time, they are also burdened with so many other responsibilities, like population counting, development scheme, fund disbursement, and so many things. So where is that? And there is no appreciation for their extension roles. Suppose a veterinarian posted in a veterinary hospital is organizing so many animal health camps, exhibitions, and the department will not appreciate them. They will see how many AI you have performed, how many cases you have handled. So this also, it should be matching with the job profile, your activities. There should be proper appreciation for the work being done by you. So, but this is what, so as this is the very good reference written by Contento. He was extension officer at FAO right in 1996. So he has talked about, with reference to the FAO's recommendation that every country should have extension policy. So this article, very rightly, that is in Improving Agriculture Extension, a reference manual. You will find this article written on formulating extension policy. So you can online, you can find this reference. And then Bangladesh, our neighbor, in 1996, formulated extension policy, National Agriculture Extension Policy, as well as they also formulated the National Livestock Extension Policy. So that is, and that policy has also been reviewed whether it is working well or not. In 2009, there is another article you can find out. So as extension, responsible extension personnel, you should look into all these aspects of these are the basic nature of article. So how to do it. Suppose tomorrow you become a part of the panel responsible for formulated extension policy, then whatever inputs you will give, that will be based on informed inputs. Just not a casual approach. Based on some solid information you are having, you will be able to give that information to farmers. So I finished my presentation here. Let it make it open to discussion. We can remaining 10 minutes we can spend on discussing the things. Want to stop presenting. So I have, as far as formal presentation was concerned, that I have finished with. Actually, how 200
If there are any questions, please ask.
four participants.
Yeah, if there are any questions or observations or interaction.
Let me ask you that what made you? No.
Am I audible?
Let me ask one question from the participant. 204 of you are. No. Let me ask this question. Are you hearing me, Lakmina?
Thank you very much,
You
sir,
can
for
unmute and tell me.
nice presentation.
So there are
I'm audible,
204
sir?
participants. 200.
Yes, sir.
I'm audible. I'm not.
Yes,
hearing
you are
your
very
voice.
much audible and very happy to see you here.
Yeah, sir.
Are you able to hear me, Dr. Meena?
Thank you very much, sir, for nice presentation.
You are not hearing my
I have
voice.
a small query, sir.
Dr. Meena, you are audible? Okay.
I'm working at Atari, Jodhpur, sir. We are monitoring the KVKs of Rajasthan, Haryana,
Yes.
and Delhi. And everything nowadays, all the scheme of government of India is being implemented through Krishi Vigyan Kendras. And it is
Yes,
not
right.
under the
Yes.
control of Atari, because KVKs, NGOs, and other institutions are managing Krishi Vigyan Kendras. My question is that
Yes.
the director of extension from the universities, they are from the different discipline like agriculture, engineering, and they are not concerned with the social areas, they are not social scientists. Even there is a division of agriculture extension in the universities. So we also find problems in implementing these schemes. So there should be some guidelines from the central government, because central government is also funding for many schemes to the state governments. So for effective implementation of these schemes and for this Krishi Vigyan Kendras, so there should be some guidelines for a social scientist being the director of extension.
So Dr. Meena, what you are saying, no, I think nobody knows it better than me. In last 5 years, there have been 3 interviews of Joint Director Extension at IVRI. And all of my batchmates, they were selected as Joint Director Extension Education. I did PhD with them in extension subject from IVRI itself, yet I was not found, and they are being selected for 1 year against the position of 5 years. Tenure of is 5 years and they are selecting.
I think I have seen, sir, this thing, especially
This is a condition. So now I'm not going into it much. You see. But in some it is very good, in the universities.
Most of the director extensions, they are from the extension background, and I think it is not audible, sir.
In veterinary universities, I have seen scenario is a good. Yeah. Yes. It will happen slowly, but this is why we need, when extension policy is there, it is not, mine is not muted. My mic is not muted.
Thank you.
Now you are able.
Yeah, now I'm hearing, sir.
To hear. Extension policy. Yeah, extension policy. They will look into all these aspects. So they will consider all these aspects, and there will be experts coming from different ways, including many extension people will be there. Now many people are realizing this problem. Many people are realizing this problem, and they will consider it. Surely. Any other question?
Thank you very much, sir.
Sir, I have one submission, please.
Suresh.
Sir, I have one submission, please. Are you listening me, sir?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Sir.
Yeah, I'm listening. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Sir, myself, Dr. Banarsi Lal, I am serving as a senior scientist and head Krishi Vigyan Kendra Riyasi, Jammu and Kashmir, sir, J&K. Sir, my submission is that, first of all, I'd like to congratulate for your wonderful lecture, because you delivered in a very systematized way and very scientific way. And it was a learning lesson for all of us, especially for the KVK persons. I would like to congratulate you, sir. Then I would like to tell you, sir, that we are working on commodity villages, because we developed some commodity villages in Riyasi district, which is totally a hilly district. Udhampur and Riyasi district, they are the hilly district of Jammu and Kashmir. The farmers are, the size of land holding is very small, and the farmers are small and marginal farmers. So we work on the commodity villages, means ki suppose there is a village that we develop as a floriculture village. Whole village we have converted as a, then we developed as an organic village. Now, due to COVID-19, these farmers are facing the problem to sell their produce, because Katra, there is a Vaishno Devi shrine, that is Katra, and devotees from across the nation used to visit there for the homage to the Vaishno Devi shrine. Now, there was immense scope of floriculture as well as organic vegetables plus honey, and we have developed the villages of such commodities in hilly areas. So the farmers are feeling the problem to sell their produce, because the market is coming the way. Suppose floriculture, nobody likes to purchase the flowers of marigold right now, because people don't like to touch even the flowers. So at this juncture of time, what's your suggestion, you sir? What should we do so that farmers can be benefited even during the COVID-19 pandemic?
So market intelligence has been identified as one of the areas for the extension people that they should upgrade their skills on this. That area comes under market intelligence. You know, what is the market scenario, market surveys, and all these things. You find out your problem, how that can be solved in your area, looking at the opportunities, marketing opportunities, how it can be, whether it can be transported to Delhi or some other parts, whether refrigerated van. Suppose market is not available locally, where it can be taken, where there is a demand for this kind of a product which is not locally consumed, not purchased locally, where it can be taken. So you have to do market survey. Market survey has become one area for the extension people to work on. Earlier they were giving no, we'll give you input advice only. You give this input, you will produce more. Now farmers are what to do with the more production, where to take it. So now locally you will see that where it can be done. So some Azadpur Mandi in Bareilly, people are transporting, not selling it to the local Mandi. Many vegetables, they are transporting it. Their way is that suppose in the local Mandi it is 10 rupee a kg capsicum, and in Azadpur Mandi is 15 rupee a kg. So transportation cost 2 rupee per kg, 3 rupees per kg they are saving. Now this kind of a cost estimation they are doing it, and they are taking it to any Mandi. Not only to Azadpur in Delhi, maybe in some Chandigarh Mandi prices are available. It can be transported, and you can have a buyback arrangement also sometimes, because some buyers, they are negotiating with the commodity oriented groups. You supply us this much quantity, and they are paying a part money it also, contracting out buyer. So different marketing mechanism need to be explored, which one fits into local situation at a particular given time.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you for your question.
Okay,
Sir, good afternoon. I am Dr. Akhilesh Kumar Dubey from KVK Lucknow, sir.
Good.
Sir, I had developed a few individual model regarding supply of button mushroom in Lucknow district among 100 rural youth, and we trained him, and they also produce and supply on an individual basis to the consumer. Sir, we started a scheme for direct supplying of milk to door with the help of farmers, and developed one small chilling plant, and then they chilling it and packing in bottle, and they branding it, and then they supply.
Good.
We need, sir, your support regarding organic production of milk to the farmers. We planned a training program for farmers, and then we will request you, sir, please regarding trained him as per international.
No issue. I'm always available. No, please. I got it. You please take note of time. Please don't explain. I got your point. I'm always ready. Whenever you ask me, I will explain and I can help you out. I will deliver lecture. I will guide them properly. I will give you the required literature for that. No problem.
Okay,
This Dubey ji, no problem. I will help.
Yes. Sir, I also
Yes, please.
linked it with 21 kVkg of Eastern UP regarding
Very good,
organic
very good.
production of cereals, pulses, oilseed, and jaggery regarding, sir. So we need
Very good.
also
Actually,
your help, sir.
The way problem is that in organic, sometime it is assured market is not there. So lot many people are getting excited and coming into organic, and some they are not having, sometime they are not getting remunerative market ready-made. So you will have to make an arrangement with the buyers.
Sir, our KVK is working on that issue. We have developed, sir, several WhatsApp group of consumers,
Very good.
and they demanded produce on WhatsApp, and our boys is directly home delivery to them, sir.
Very good, very appreciable work you are doing. Very good, very good.
Sir,
So Suresh,
I just want to
Suresh,
interfere, please.
yeah. Yes.
Yes, Rathod sir.
Yeah, actually, Dubey sir, I think you can discuss personally with him. Actually, I think we have a lot many points to discuss with him. I think you can discuss personally. But
Okay,
let us
okay.
take actually, if there are one or two questions. I think Dr. Suresh was asking something.
Suresh has raised
Dr.
hands.
Suresh,
Please.
are you there?
Suresh.
Yeah, please, Suresh ji, please.
Sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, in the state of Karnataka, we have got a separate wing for extension, and they are looking after the extension services in the state of Karnataka in the Department of Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Services. We have got
that is good.
additional director and director. They are looking after it, sir.
Suresh, I got your question very well, what you are saying. Actually, in the 10th plan onwards and 11th and 12th plan, 10th plan onwards, it was a recommendation that every state department of animal husbandry will have a separate extension wing. Me together with Prakash wrote article on that one, and we surveyed several states. At that time, when we wrote articles some 7-8 years back, only very few states had that kind of a separate extension wing, which was the recommendation of the Planning Commission subgroup on livestock husbandry, where I was member secretary. So then that was recommended, and fortunately now so many states have started creating that separate extension wing within Animal Husbandry Directorate. Now, for your information, I am telling you, Government of India, Directorate of Animal Husbandry, DADF, now they have also created separate extension wing. I am very happy. There is one Dr. Sulekha from Kerala. She is Assistant Commissioner looking after it, and they are doing very good job. And the Joint Secretary currently, she is taking a lot of interest in developing that extension wing at the central level. Earlier, there was nobody in the name of extension in the livestock sector. She is a veterinarian, she is Assistant Commissioner, she is looking after it at central level. Now, that is a good development which has happened in last 1 year. Any other questions?
Okay. Thank you, sir. Very good information, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Congratulations, sir.
Sir, Dr. Sulekha, you can keep in touch. She is very good. Dr. Prem Kumar, yes, please.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. Respected sir, it is a wonderful lecture and presentation. And I'm totally agree that there must be a national agriculture framework must be there, because half of the extension worker want to go out, because if you see, sir, UGC just has a puts the guidelines for for our growth, and there is no extension. It is only for research people and it is only for teachers. So there is no extension people. So until and unless there is a clear cut guidelines for us also, people are already getting demoralized. So they want to go out from this extension field.
Yes. Yes, you're right. Actually, you see the
so, sir, just
America,
I wanted to know that if anybody can represent.
Your question is not complete. Anybody can represent. You mean that no, that momentum will come now. Slowly, people are thinking. Only hesitation. I told you that agriculture is a state subject. And suppose at the national level they devise one extension policy, states sometimes they don't agree with it. So that's the problem. So, but still it is being thought of to organize extension more practical. After Dalwai committee report and a lot of literature, you read. I am suggesting to all of you, please read that book. Very good on agriculture extension, volume 11 of Dalwai, because there are almost 14 volumes. Volume 11 deal with agriculture extension. How they have said about the more importance of secondary and tertiary sector than the primary sector. how entrepreneurship can be developed, new things they have included. And Dr. Prem Kumar, what he was saying that in America is a very good example of the policy, cooperative extension. And then Japan agriculture extension system, Thailand, Korea, they are doing very well. I seen in Korea, rural development agriculture extension is so professionally being done by the people, and the farmers are in touch with, and they are getting benefited with their extension services. This is what unfortunately is not happening in our country, despite the fact that there are so many KVKs, many dedicated staff is there, but they are not able to organize themselves and deliver effectively. Either infrastructure is not there, funding is not there, proper policies, because of the lack of the proper policy, all these things are not there. So we are not able to organize our extension services in a better way. But things will improve slowly, what I believe. So I was asking another question, what made you not to respond to the survey which I gave you? 109 responses I got it. I still request, and please pass on message to other friends, those who have left, because right now only 155 is there. Still you can give your responses to the survey, because professionally, and this is a part of your lecture also, training. This is a training program. In training program, you are being trained in how to respond surveys and get in more, rather than a plain lecture. If you are getting opportunity to responding the questionnaire, I was wondering, despite reminder only 109 responses I could get it. So if you can fill up this day, still it will be good information for us, because always that helps, because getting feedback, for extension people, feedback is very important, feedback of the participants. So some raised hands are there. Suresh, do you have still question?
No, sir.
I saw that your hand is raised. Are you having any question?
No, sir. No,
okay, so fine. Anybody else?
Yeah, please, Shiva Kumar.
Shiva Kumar.
Please.
Happy to see you, Sri. Hello, Shiva Kumar. Happy to see you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Happy to see you too, sir. My pranam, sir.
Thank you.
As my teacher, first of my pranam, sir. Sir, very nice to listen to your presentation. Myself, Dr. Shiva Kumar Reddy, working as Associate Professor and Head of Department of Extension at Veterinary College, Gadag. And I am proud that I am also a student of Mahesh Chandra, sir. Sir, I got one query. So where should we begin? We want a policy. Yes, we have realized the importance of the policy in agriculture extension and veterinary extension. Where do we begin? Who has to bell the cat now?
No, actually this is Ministry of Agriculture's job. No, things are happening, but in a slow pace. Manage is there. Manage is doing a lot of good work to organize extension activities, field level activities in this country. And that framework was developed few years back, taking note of the FAO recommendation, and that framework was uploaded in the Ministry of Agriculture's website. That narrates. Next step is that getting it legalized, taking it to the parliament. This did not happen, probably because of the state subject I told. It's a state, say Karnataka, so Karnataka state, UP state. And then central is having a policy. Some state may say, no, we don't agree with this policy. We'll have, say, just like Mandi issue, Mandi, Punjab want that, but many states are so much happy with the farm laws and Mandi, Bihar and all. They don't have any issues. In southern India, many are not raising any issues with these farm laws and Mandi and all. Only few states are raising hands. So now the central government, they are saying we'll have our own way, state way. So this is what is now, but slowly it will be realized that we have to organize it. All the extension people also getting enlightened slowly, and we are coming forward. We are getting stronger. We'll put forth our voice that we should be heard. So right now, in comparison to earlier days, we are a little bit better now. At least this kind of webinars are happening with so many people participating and listening to the different views. And I am happy that the organizers have taken care of. Very good speakers are there, and I have seen very good experienced people are there. So all the participants will be happy to listen, all of them a different view, and all of you participants, those who are here, they will become a critical mass. We'll ask one day that why we are not having a policy for extension. After listening, if we are having this kind of seminar, so many, I'm happy to see the diversity also. and very good number of speakers, good number of participants. I haven't seen any training program for the faculty and all this with 280 participants is a huge number with a big diversity. If you all are interacting among yourself, and then you can help out improving extension system in days to come.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
Majid
there is
ji.
one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. बोलिए.
Yes, sir. My sir, please.
Yes, Majid.
सर आप कुछ कह रहे थे सर.
नहीं, माजिद कुछ बोल रहे हैं ना उधर से. माजिद
सर ने कुछ बोला मुझे तो I responded to that.
No, if there are no queries, actually, I just was thinking of proposing the formal vote of thanks, sir. So that is. Any other queries we have? Okay. Anyways, actually, thank you very much, sir. Because if you have any Google form link or something like that, what you were talking about the survey, what you had shared yesterday, I think we can share it in our WhatsApp group. Participants are actually members of WhatsApp group.
We can drop it, sir, here in the chat also. The link to the Google form. Both of them. Can you type in the chat box?
I'm just doing wait for a minute.
Sure, sir.
Yeah,
sure,
yeah. So then we can have good responses, sir. And apart from that, I would like to even ultimately thank sir for giving his valuable lecture. And in fact, actually, I have already told you, like during his disconnection, that he has worked a lot on the policy issues and actually different and has been associated with different organizations. In fact, and ultimately, it was actually very good hearing you, sir, after a long gap. In fact, many of them will be in a mood to listen to you as well as listen to your lectures because of this type of good presentations and having good discussions. In fact, and it was also I can even say proudly that I was also one of your students actually during my PhD days. Thank you very much once again, sir, for sharing your valuable time, sharing your experiences with our participants. In fact, I would also say that this is actually a paid program. Even there are more number of participants, but this is a paid program. In fact, everybody knows that 21 days is an important training program required even academically also. So thank you very much, sir, for your valuable time and presentation. And thank you all the participants for your.
I have shared the survey link also here.
Yeah, participants, please go through the survey link and respond at the earliest. And I think we will close this session for time being, and we will again meet at 2:30. Is that okay, Majid?
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you all. I am very happy. It was my pleasure presenting here, and hope you liked this lecture very much already. I'm happy to see your responses that some of you have responded. So hope it was useful to you. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Let's leave and join back at 2:30. Thank you.